All right, well, I'm Joey Brasil. I'm 46. I'm out of Modesto. I've been running late models occasionally over the last 7 years, and I started racing, I don't know, when I was 14, so back 1994, 93 in Outlaw karts.
Talk about the transition from Outlaw karts to a race car such as a late model.
It's huge difference. I run Outlaw karts right now too. So that's probably the main source of my racing, but the Outlaw kart has about 80 horsepower, weighs about 450 pounds with me in it, and it's on dirt, so it's kind of a wicked piece to hang on to versus this. You can manhandle it, but it might not like being manhandled, so there's a huge difference between the two platforms.
Now, as far as what drew you to racing, what was it, that moment for you where you're like, man, I want to race?
Well, the reason why I'm here for this race is because I used to sit up in the Turn 4 grandstands here at Stockton 99 Speedway when I was like 6 or 7 years old, watching the racing, and you know, I didn't have cable TV. There was no internet. I didn't know anything about racing. This was the only place. I thought the guys running out here like Bolletto, Ron Shrinska, they were like world famous because this is the only source of racing that I knew. So I came here watching racing almost every week for like 4 or 5 years, and like I said, thinking these guys were famous, and basically tracking their statistics at home. I memorized the program they used to sell here at the track. I know what Joey Brasil's track record is off the top of my head in the super modified, and still to this day. So I spent a lot of time looking at that, just this track, thinking that was all motorsports had, but turned out there was a lot more thanks to eventually having cable and watching Speed Vision and things like that.
Well, you mentioned, you know, following the legends of Stockton 99 Speedway, and we have those legendary names in the field. We have Stearns, we have Strmiska, we have Philpott. How does it feel being able to race alongside those same names that you grew up watching? Yeah,
that's why I'm here, because there's names like Bolletto, Kevin Gatula, Dave Philpott. I see him walking around. I mean, one night Dave Philpott and Kevin Gatula had a smoking race, and there was basically a fight in the pits, and I was in the middle of it, and Dave almost knocked me over, and I still remember it clear as day, you know, and I see him, you know, here in the pits now, and it just, you know, that's why I'm here. I want to be with those guys who I thought were world famous when I was a kid.
And now, you know, being here yourself, what would you say to potential race fans out there who might want to get involved, might want to get a start and get their foot in the door for motorsports?
Well, yeah, number one, do it, and don't stop when everything is against you. Don't stop, because that was kind of my thing. At 8 years old, I was told many times, poor kids don't race cars, and guys that look like me don't race cars. So it wasn't easy, especially if you can imagine in 1991, 1990, me hanging out at a racetrack, and that's when I was starting to learn what racing was about, being in the pits and stuff like that. When you run into a wall, just keep going through it and stay motivated, and when you feel like quitting, don't. Maybe give yourself a nice breather or a break and just keep going, because yeah, I know this is just Stockton 99 Speedway. It's very small in the reality of things. It's not Daytona or nothing like that, but to me, this is everything, and I think HGC Motorsports, every time they think of me when they have a car available to run this race at this track, you know, it means a whole lot to me, and no matter what anybody says about how I feel about it, that's how I feel, and it's end of story. So if you want to do this, just don't quit. That's all I can say.
You kind of alluded to the importance of this event. It is the Strmiska Firecracker 90. For those fans who may not know, it honors one of the greatest drivers, Ron Shrinska. And I just want you to take a moment to explain why this is so important. Why is it so meaningful to you as a driver, but also as a fan?
Well, yeah, I mean, the fireworks show every year is like the best I see. You know, still to this day, at the age I am now, you know, it's still the best fireworks show. And it's a place where we race in front of a full house most years at this event, you know, and that was, again, something I remember from being 7, 8 years old, seeing all these people gathered, and we got to watch fireworks, and we got to see a 100-lap race. I mean, it still blows my mind the way I felt back then. So, like, I don't know, this particular event is, like, to me, a flagship of this area of racing. I don't feel like as many people know about it as they should, but the people that do know about it keep coming back. They keep watching it. They tell their friends, and that's why the stands are usually pretty full at this particular event.
Unfortunately, we don't have fireworks for this weekend due
Right.
to a lot of unforeseen circumstances, but why should the race fans still come out tonight?
Because of the race. I mean, these local guys, they race here regularly, unlike me, but they want to win this race because the guys that, you know, like we alluded to before, the history of it. You got Harry Bolletto, Joey Brasil, Ken Boyd, Troy Beebe. They've all won this race, you know, and that was like 35 years ago. And then each year there's a different Bolletto. Each year there's a different Strmiska. And they're running the front, and they're running good. They want to win this race. So the action is probably top level compared to any night here at this track before. Heck, even Sam Solari, who's racing tonight, has quite of a legacy here now also. So yeah, this event, come out and see it, because all the drivers are laying down their best nights, best equipment, and they want to win this thing just like I do, because like I said, it brings back memories from 40 years ago. That's all I say.
Well, and of course, I want to ask, who are the people, the sponsors you want to thank this weekend?
Well, I'd love to thank all my sponsors, but I don't have any. I never have. I'll thank Mike Snyder, who sponsored me way back in 1999 for a full season of micro racing. But that was my only sponsor I've really ever worked with, so everything else is funded out of my pocket. And then HGC Motorsports, I mean, I've only run late models with them, and I've run probably between 15 to 20 races over the course of 6 years. And that's the team I want to work with when I show up. Those are the guys I want to work with. And so I'll thank them for thinking of me when it comes to this race, and for putting together a car that even me, who only runs a handful of races in these cars, a decent shot. And I do have a decent shot with this car. So other than that, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I definitely want to thank him for giving me everything he has to get me in these cars. Because trust me, when I was like, say, 12, 13, 14, I never thought it was going to happen. So I was going to be the best fan I could possibly be, that's for sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I memorized Joey Brasil 11.849 super modified track record. Just saying.